pretty good.
Okay. This is TP Cast by Sarah and Ty. Title. Okay. So the title of the poem is Constantly Risking Absurdity. So we know that there's risk, and it's going to be absurd. It possibly could fail and then be absurd. Whether absurd is embarrassment or people hate you. So that's what your first impression of the title, but you really should try to.
To show you then more here.
Yeah, there you go. Okay.
I don't know, I just feel uncomfortable around girls.
So, don't do it.
Actually, yeah, do it.
Oh.
Baby Lay's sponsored.
They're delicious.
Paraphrase.
We've already done that. What we're saying is, the acrobat is trying to reach beauty, which is on the higher perch. So it's kind of like if you visualize it, the acrobat and his female counterpart is probably like a really skimpy rhinestone get up.
When beauty leaps, example A, the little man who is the poet and the catcher of beauty needs to catch. That's me. Wants to catch it. So he's like, he's trying to catch it, and if beauty falls and right next to him, beauty dies, and poets.
Give a shout out to the AP Lit class on 3. 3.
3?
Yes, 3. Say something nice. Sheep. 4. Connotation.
Connotation. That is the non-literal meaning of the words in the poem.
And this is full of non-literal meaning.
All poems are full of non-literal meaning.
Not necessarily. Like concrete poems? Those aren't full of literal meaning.
There's no such thing.
No, because like in this poem, okay, this is a great segue here. Okay. In this poem, the connotation, it's pretty much all figurative for the most part, in comparing an acrobat to a poet. But the thing is, it says in one of the stanzas, it talks about how the poet, he does entrechat, which is the little ballet thing. He does those to kind of trick his readers into thinking they're reading what they want to read, so it'll fix his reputation, but at the same time, it's kind of like a double entendre. So he's like, I know what I'm really saying. You think you know what I'm saying, but I know it, so I'm still putting the truth out there, even though you don't really understand it.
The structure of the poem is absurd, so therefore, he's risking absurdity by putting this poem out, called Constantly Risking Absurdity.
Right.
This eyebrow's lowered than the other.
My hair probably smells. No, I don't smell it.
Fantastic.
Fine. Okay. Attitude.
Yes.
Indeed.
The attitude, I don't know if there's really an attitude. It's more of like a teaching, or like a sharing of feelings type attitude. Like, well, this is what I feel, and I want you guys to know how I feel whenever I put a poem out. So
I do. I feel like the attitude is kind of more like not really like a T.O.'d kind of attitude, but more like a.
So he's just sharing with other poets. He's relating. He's like, other poets are probably like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Oh my goodness.
Wait. Well, never mind. Fun.
But like, to the people who just give off comments like, well, I didn't get that. Obviously, it doesn't make any sense. He's like, it makes sense to me, and if you read it and try to understand it and give it a chance, it'll make sense to you. And then they're like, oh, okay.
Of course, they're confident in their work because they have an established reputation, which isn't necessarily true. Every time a poet puts something out, they're not going to be like, yeah, this is a great poem. They're going to be like, I hope everybody likes this. I hope this is going to be okay.
Yeah.
They're not always confident in their work, and I think that's what this poem is trying to uncover.
Just trying to undress.
Oh, shifts with Ty Alley.
What? Oh, shifts. Okay. I gave up Lent for Lent.
That's when you were talking about the structure.
Anyway, the structure of the poem starts out with your title, And then with the line, the first line is just like, just in thin air, you know, one line, you know, constantly risking absurdity. And then like instead of like starting at the like, gosh, this is hard, you know. Like, all right, this is the beginning, okay, one line, and then boom, space, half of that other line, from half of that other line under it, adder of lines.
It's not stanzas.
It's not in stanzas, and it's not
really just all
it's
over
not
this.
written.
He is risking absurdity as a poet, so he's doing what the thing is saying. He's doing what he's talking about in the poem by doing something kind of ridiculous. Because some people, when they're reading their poem, are going to be all like, it needs to be in a stanza. You need to have there's also like a figurative shift in it, because at the very beginning it talks about how it talks about, you know, it just opens up with the acrobat, and slowly it shifts to talking more about the poet, and then it shifts again to talking about the acrobat
and the poet.
Yeah.
Actually, the guy trying to catch beauty.
For our final thing, which is title again. So title. Well, we've pretty much already done that.
Title is self-explanatory.
And that's that. Okay, moving to theme.
His feelings as a poet. He feels every time he puts a work out onto the market for other poets and critics and people to read. He feels like the acrobat about to perform a death-defying trick. As a performer, I feel the same.
It's really crunchy. Well, that's really it.
Yeah, that was pretty bad.
This has been TP Cast with Sarah and Kai. Special thanks to Wavy Waves. No, and special thanks to you. And good night.